In today's video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of Teenage Engineering's OPZ synth. Now, I must say, I have had this for a few months and I love this little thing. It is super tiny. I mean, just look at it. It is built with super high quality materials. It feels really solid in your hands, and you can put it in your pocket and take it anywhere, and you have hands-on control to actually produce a scratch song on the go. And that's what really drew me to this. I mean, I didn't want to, record stuff on my phone through an app. I actually like this because it forces you to actually just be more creative. You're not looking at a screen, although you can look at a screen if you want. You can hook it up with an iPhone and have full visuals. But I just like the fact that it's kind of old school. You have rotaries to control sample, in and out points, volumes. You have your basic 8-track sequencer. So it's more than enough as a scratch pad to get ideas on the road. So let's just go through the basics of it. So once you turn it on, let's go through the basic sounds, just a few of them just to get you going. If you hit the I key and the kick drum, now you have a full bank of kicks. If you want to go through a different bank of kicks, because you're on the kick channel, you hit the I key and number 2. And so on and so forth. So if you hit snare, different banks of snares, you have 4 banks. Same thing with the hi-hat. Samples. Bass. If you want a different bass sound. Lead synths. Arpeggios. And chord sounds. And the rest, these other 8 channels, I don't use. There's various MIDI functions. You can control lighting rigs, stuff I really don't need or care about. But that is all that I need just to make a basic track. So let's program a basic track. The first thing you want to do is set your tempo. So if you hit play, there's a tempo. If you want to change the tempo, you hit this back key, the tempo key, and with the green, you can go faster or slower. And if you want the actual click sound louder, you can control it from there. So let's just slow it down a little bit. Okay, so let's program a beat. I like to play my beats, but for people that are into like step sequencing, I'll show you how to quickly do that. If you select your kick, by default, it gives you a 1-bar pattern. So it's automatically set to 1 bar. Now we go through the kick sounds. Let's just say we want that kick drum. You hit the record button, and the latest sound that you hit is the one that's going to be programmed. So let's go on the ones and hit play. And now to erase it, you can just go back and hit the red keys that programmed. Now I actually like to play my beats, and let's do it that way. So the first thing I want to do is I want to change the length of the bar to 2 bars, and you can easily do that by hitting the shift and I key and then the number 2. If you wanted a 4-bar length pattern, you just hit the 4. But for now, like I said, 2 is good. And let's choose our sound. And we're going to arm record it. So when you arm record it, it starts recording on the first key. Since I know I'm going to hit a kick on the first bar, we're going to do it that way. So hit record and play, record, play, and it's ready armed. And now let's start recording. And now we want to quantize so that it's right on the grid. And you can easily do that by hitting the shift and I key and turning the yellow knob to the right. So now it's perfectly quantized. So now let's press and record a snare drum. So let's go I, snare. Let's use that snare. And I'm going to arm record it, but then I'm going to hit play because I'm not going to be putting a snare on the first hit. So I'll show you what I mean. Arm it and then play and then get ready to record. Let's quantize it. Shift and I. And now let's put some hi-hats. Let's make it a 2-bar pattern for the hi-hat. Let's first select the hi-hat. Make it a 2 pattern. Shift and I, 2. Let's use that sound right there. And arm it and start playing. And let's quantize, Shift and I. And now we can basically get rid of the metronome sound because we don't need it now. Now let's add some chord sounds. So let's hit I and chords, and let's make a 2-bar pattern. So let's hit Shift, I, and 2, and get ready to record. Quantize. Let's record some bass. Oh, sorry, I forgot to make it a 2-bar pattern. So let's erase that bass sound. To erase an entire track, you hit the stop button and the I, and it erases everything. So now we're still on the bass, and we're going to hit Shift and I and 2. And now let's get it ready to record. Record and play. Quantize, Shift I. And now let's just mess around with some lead synths. So let's hit a I and let's choose a different sound. Yeah, let's use that sound. Let's just play with it. That sounds good. So let's make it a 2-bar pattern. Shift and I, and play. Quantize. And there you go. That's the basics of getting a quick idea onto the OPZ synth. Be sure to subscribe because I'm going to be doing more tutorials on the OPZ synth where I will show you how to sample. And that is really fun because on the OPZ synth, you can sample directly from an Android device, which I've done many times, directly from my phone plugged into the synth, or you can sample using the onboard mic. And that's a lot of fun. So I will show you that in future tutorials. Thanks.